people who don't get stressed during a presentation, school, or work. What's your secret? Experience. I used to get nervous and now I don't. Not sure when or why that happened. U/tap review. This is the boring, unappealing but best answer. I was constantly nervous in any speaking situation. It didn't matter if it was just an informal presentation to my research group or a big talk at a conference. I stuttered and struggled through every talk. Over the course of a few years, I did public lectures to hundreds of people, I ran a D&D game, and ended up in a corporate job where, at one point, I found myself giving a talk every day for a month. Now, I'm completely confident in any public speaking situation. I'll talk about basically anything in front of any group willing to listen. I totally sympathize with anyone who finds this advice terrifying, but you can't do better than just getting experience. Find opportunities to talk in a formal context, pick small groups or topics you feel really confident in but struggle through the embarrassment until you don't care anymore. I used to be calm and have lost it after a traumatic experience. I'm still trying to learn how to function in this new PTSD world, and the last time I spoke to a group I was sweating bullets and trying to find the eyes of everyone in the room. Part of the problem with this for me is that I feel the need to share what I've seen, but I can't do it calmly and it makes me come across like a lunatic, and maybe I lost my mind in all that trauma, but I still need to be able to communicate with a group effectively to share what I've seen without being dismissed. Side note, you can't tell the difference between someone that's having a panic attack and someone that's deeply horrified about what they're talking about. How nervous did you used to get? Dry mouth, sweaty, sparkling lights in your visual field like you're about to pass out, gapping on things you know front to back? I guess I'm asking if you think I can cure myself through exposure, and just find a group of people to break down in front of until I can keep my shit together. Happy to hear you conquered this. Congrats. This sounds stupid, but you can practice alone at first. Rehearse your speech in the car like a lunatic. You might feel shy while doing that. You might be stressed, start having negative thoughts about yourself, but you have to push them aside. Talk to yourself loudly while in the shower. Imagine people sitting in front of you while rehearsing in front of a YouTube video of an audience. Then when you're ready, call a friend on your phone and tell them your story. Don't ask for feedback if you're not ready yet. Just concentrate on how you feel. Also, another tip, write down what you experienced. For a time while I was processing my trauma, I had lost the ability to talk. Conversations and especially small talk would scare me and I would zone out if someone was talking to me for a longer time. Then WhatsApp came around and I started communicating. I wrote about everything. I had enough time to carefully choose my words and I could walk away if it became too overwhelming. My best friend became my therapist. Suddenly I could connect with others who had been out of my reach. I know everyone always shits on messengers and how it's making us antisocial, but for me it allowed me to participate in society again. I learned to talk again, and now 10 years later I moderated an online event with 80 participants on WebEx yesterday. I was on stage asking our CEO questions in front of hundreds of employees in the room and 10,000 sitting in front of their screens. Last but not least, I can finally give an answer if someone asks me how my day was or what my opinion is about the weather without thinking about any of my trauma and completely shutting down in the process while trying not to share my life story with a complete stranger. Honestly, just remembering that most likely, no one is paying attention anyway, especially if it's school. If you're in school, literally nobody cares about your presentation. Unless you're into what you're doing. Then all those shitheads decide to start fucking with you and ask questions that seem to be related but really aren't, so you have no idea how to answer. It is okay to have limited knowledge of all the aspects of an issue, particularly if they are only tangentially related. And I do not know, but I will check and get back to you, or that is outside the scope of this presentation, at the moment, but we can discuss it later should suffice. Great question. I don't want to get too off track here, but let's discuss offline afterwards. Top tip for any presentation is to tell people at the beginning whether they should ask questions throughout or save them for the end. If you'll allow them throughout, introduce the concept of a parking lot for any questions that would get too off topic and push you over time. This can be a physical whiteboard / post-it on the wall, or just a note you take on paper. Then, for any questions you don't want to answer, great question but I think it's going to take us out of scope. Let's add it to the parking lot and we can follow up offline or in a future session. Honestly, most people are never going to follow up on that stuff. At the very least it buys you some time and doesn't derail the conversation. Oh my goodness, I can't agree enough. I spend all the time leading up, double-checking things, wondering about adding more, editing slides or whatever just slightly, just going neurotic and losing my mind. Like today I am procrastinating on Reddit before a presentation to 600 some students this evening, joy. But, once I'm actually talking I know it will be a breeze and then be over. Just keep remembering, I've done it before, I can do it again. The real reasons I had stuffed animals in my room, so I can practice my school presentations on them, with their unblinking eyes. Do it over and over to get timing, inflection, pronunciations, rotating head / eye contact, etc. right. My hands would shake and it would be damp from sweat, and it was just stuffed animals looking at me. Actual presentation? My body just going through the motions because I had practiced so much the week and night before. Hold on to the remote control / pen / pointer tightly as it's my fidget spinner / stress ball. Definitely faking it but made it. Practically flawless. The audience always say they couldn't tell how nervous I was. Definitely sweated through the deodorant that was slathered on in the back of my shirt, so wear 2+ shirts, tank top / t-shirt to soak it up, actual shirt that's nice looking for presentation, maybe a cardigan / blazer for professional shoulders and inevitable cold from all that sweat. Every single time. I still get stage fright. Go home and change and just get away from all those people.